W3OC, net control for the Tours Amateur Radio Club net. This radio net meets every Monday at 8 p.m. on a 146.73 MHz WA3 repeater for the Gibleo FM Association. Membership in the Tours ARC is not required. Checking the net as all radio amateurs are welcome. If you'd like information about the Tours Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. That's P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the internet worldwide web at www.trarc.net. www.trarc.net. Radio Club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of every month except July, August, and December, starting at 7 p.m. We'll open this net for check-ins as emergency or priority traffic at this time. Unheard. Does anyone have listened to silent keys in a radio amateur that recently passed away? Okay, this one was listed last week. I heard it like last week on a preacher that Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Victor Delmore Simpson from Butler, PA, passed away at the end of April, I think was what it was. That's Delmore Simpson, Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Victor from Butler, PA. So we'll take a moment to stand by in remembrance of Delmore, KB3WB. Okay, thanks for standing by. Okay, I'll be taking some check-ins here in a moment. Please, when you check in the net, give your call sign slowly and phonetically. Means spell out your call sign, and let me know if you have any announcements or comments in the net. Okay, at this time I'm looking for any members of the Tours ARC Board of Directors wish to check in.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob and Elizabeth Township. Evening, Chuck. Evening to the net, no traffic. W3OC. Please recognize November 3, Juliet, Hotel, Bravo, Jim and McKeesport. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic. W3OC. W3OC, please copy Whiskey 3, Sierra Hotel Foxtrot, Steve at Big Heron Heights. Good evening, Chuck, everyone on the net. And I have one brief announcement when there's time.
Okay, thank you. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo, Whiskey 3 Sierra Hotel Fox with an announcement. Okay, any other members of the Tours ARC Board of Directors wish to check in? And heard, alrighty. Steve, go ahead with your announcement. W3SHF is W3OC.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. This is Steve, W3SHF, Activities Director for Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club. WA8FDY Doug has started a 10-meter net on Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. and that's at 28.450 upper sideband. 28.450 upper sideband, and he has been the net coordinator, and it seems he's in a fairly good location to receive some of the further off check-ins we had to the east of Pittsburgh last Thursday evening. So I guess if you can get a hold of Doug, WA8FDY, he might have some more details than that. But that's, like I said, that's Thursday evenings, 8 p.m., 28.450 upper sideband. Thank you. Back to net.
Okay, thank you, Steve. W3SHF, W3ON, or W3OC, I should say. Thank you. extra information. I didn't heard that before. Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody got any questions for Steve about that announcement? Not heard. All right, now we'll continue on with check-ins. Now I'm looking for stations that are offering mobile, portable, or outside of any kind for the 2 Rivers Net.
WA3 PBD portable West Mifflin. W306. This is Whiskey Uniform, Curtin Mobile. No traffic. W306. November 3, Zulu Charlie Hotel. Ricky up there, Osborne portable. Here's Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening, Cincinnati.
W3OC. W3OC. Damn it.
Whiskey Uniform 3 Uniform Mobile, November 3 Zulu Charlie
Okay.
Hotel Portable. Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa, and Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa Portable. Okay, anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of any kind?
W3OC. W3OC. Please recognize Whiskey America 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie. Antonio City in Pittsburgh. Good evening, Chuck on those on the net. I have no comments.
Okay, Whiskey America 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie. Anybody else?
3OC. Check in November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. N3 TAU Norman Penn, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck.
Okay, November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. Anybody else? Mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County? Okay, all right. Now we'll open up for general check-ins. Anyone else who has a check-in I could just look on?
W3OC. This is November 3 Papa Zulu Uniform. Chuck in the South Hills. Hello, Chuck and everyone on the net. W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor. Danny and Plum. Good evening. No comments. W3OC.
This is Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar, Chevy in O'Hara Township. Good evening to the net. No comments, no traffic.
W3OC.
Here is Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, Merle and Elizabeth Township. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net. No comments.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 India Romeo Golf. This is Ed McKeesport. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net. No comments. W3OC.
W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 November Foxtrot. Thank you, Scott Township. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net. No traffic. W3OC. Here is W3 Sierra, Yankee Radio, Bob and White Oak. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to everyone on the net. No comments.
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Bravo 3 Kilo Bravo Hotel, Craig and Castle Shannon. Need to check good evening to the net. I have no traffic.
W3OC. This is Kilo Bravo 3, Lima November Charlie, and the mobile here, no traffic.
W3OC. Copy Alpha Golf 3 Uniform, Bob and Chadwick.
W3OC. Please copy November 3, Tango Delta Victor, mobile, Mike and Pleasant Hill. Okay, thank you all. Let's see, I got November 3 Poppy Sierra uniform, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor, Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar, and Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio, Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Golf, Kilo Charlie 3 November Fox, Whiskey 3 Sierra Yankee Radio, Kilo Bravo 3 Kilo Bravo Hotel, Kilo Bravo 2 Lima November Charlie Mobile, Alpha Golf 3 Uniform, and November 3 Tango Delta Victor Mobile. Anybody else, please?
Kilo Bravo 3 Oscar X-Ray Hotel.
Okay, Kilo Bravo 3 Oscar X-Ray Hotel. Anybody else? Okay, we'll stop at that point. Thank you all for taking the time to check in or just listen to us on alternate means. That's most appreciated. Tonight, I do have a newsline transmission keyed up. A little bit of calendar stuff, local calendar activities and things are going on that I know of. A little bit on the national scene. Of course, the Two Rivers activities. The Two Rivers ARC has what we call the gap net on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. on the link repeater system on 2 meters, 147.12, 442.250. That starts at 8 o'clock. Just announced a few minutes ago, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Two Rivers ARC 10 meter net. Going to start on 28.450, 28.450 on a 10 meter band at 8 o'clock p.m. We also have a Hampton X breakfast that's normally held on the second Saturday of every month. It's Ice Cornerstone Diner, 620 Longmont Road in McKeesburg, Pennsylvania. Okay, we also have a club meeting coming up on May the 18th. That's Election Day at a site to be determined. That starts at 7 p.m. More information on that as we obtain it. It's not been released yet.
Good evening, 8:13 p.m.
Okay, let's see. I hope many of you had a chance to work the Armed Forces Day Communications Test last weekend. It was on Friday and Saturday, mostly during the daylight hours for the evening, so I could determine. This operator did manage to operate it. I found quite a few stations on, but also found quite a few that I didn't hear, or just they weren't in operation. But it was a lot of fun for those that I could hear. It seemed like here on the East Coast, the Potomac Valley Radio Club operated station NSS at the site of the U.S. Naval Academy's station down there in Maryland, and they were quite prominent on the HF band, at least that I can hear. And from what I could determine, they did a pretty good job from what I could hear. I know stations that I heard, including the USS Midway, the USS Iowa, an LST up in Evansville, Indiana, a station in Fort Huachuca in Arizona. These are ones I actually heard. There were others, I'm sure, I just didn't hear. But if you manage to work on one of QSO cards, take a look on the ARL's website up there. Look up the Armed Forces Day announcement. They have a link on there to a webpage where you can apply for QSO cards. Okay, looking at on the calendar of things coming up. According to my list here, May 20th to the 23rd, there's an online date hamvention, a virtual hamvention thing going on. The 20th is going. They're all virtual things. It means they're Zoom meetings. You need to, if you want to participate, you have to sign up. More information is on the hamvention website, hamvention.org. What I can see here, on the 20th, they have Contest University. 21st, they have all the general forums of what normally goes on in hamvention. So you might want to sign up for that. They also have an on the HF bands on the weekend. They have a half-engine QSO party on the HF bands. That's coming up, sponsored by the Dayton Half-Engine Group. Okay, May 20th and 30th, the Westmoreland County Air Show is coming up at Arnold Palmer Airport. Ham radio operators are needed for that. Dog Taking 3PO is the coordinator for that. Take a look on their website at www.wc3ps.org for more information. Okay, Ham Fest wise, I have flyers from here. Let's see, this one's dated for July 10th, Northwest Pennsylvania Ham Fest, sponsored and hosted by the Wattsburg Wireless Association. That's being held at the Green Township Municipal Building, 933 Tate Road in Erie, PA. More information is on their website. What is it? www.wattsburg-wireless.us. Okay, on July the 17th, we have Norfest, annual Hamfest and computer show. It says tentative date, depends on CDC protocols in effect at the Lorraine County Community College Research Grant Room, John A. Fletcher Conference Center in Elyria, Ohio. July 31st, the Cumberland Valley Club and Cumberland Valley Amateur Radio Club has a Hamfest scheduled for the Cumberland Valley Engine and Machinery Association Showgrounds. That's at 1501 Siders Church Road in Chambersburg, PA. And locally here in the immediate Pittsburgh area, August 14th is the day for the Uniontown ARC 71st Annual Gap Fest. That's their club run. That's coming up in August. August 29th is the Skyview Radio Society Swap and Shop at their club grounds up in New Kensington, PA. Okay, that's what I have for Hamfest. I see here's one I missed. July 3rd is the Firecracker Ham Fest. That's in Harrisburg. That's also the ARL Eastern and Western Pennsylvania Section Convention. That's on July the 3rd. July 24th and 25th is the Pittsburgh Vinci Grand Prix. I think need operators for that. Corky November 3 Mexico Japan Victor Japan Papa is the contact person for that. Okay, that's kind of what I got as far as the local announcements are concerned. Anybody need any repeats for anything they've heard from W3OC? Okay, alright, let me flip some switches and we'll see what new line for tonight. W3OC.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2271 with a release date of Friday, May 7th, 2021 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is the QST. A preeminent ham convention gets virtual replacement, fences get good shortwave reception, and were microwaves used as weapons in Washington, D.C.? All this and more is Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2271 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO. In Germany, hams are getting a virtual event as a substitute for ham radio Friedrichshafen, which was called off for the second year in a row. Ed Durant, DD5LP, tells us about the digital replacement.
Hams disappointed by the cancellation of Ham Radio Friedrichshafen are being offered Ham Radio World, an industry trade show, as a virtual meeting place from Friday, June 25th to Sunday, June 27th. The CEO of Messe Friedrichshafen, Klaus Wellmann, called the event a digital version of Europe's leading amateur radio trade show. The three-day replacement event is free and is being coordinated with the TRARC to schedule a variety of ham radio topics presented on the virtual stage and a showcase of cutting-edge products. Simulating an in-person environment as much as possible on the platform, the event will feature opportunities for video chat and customizable avatars representing visitors. For additional details, visit the website in the Newsline script of this week's report. From Amateur Radio Newsline, Ahmed Durant, DD5LP.
Meanwhile, in the U.S., Virtual Contest University and the 2021 Virtual Hamvention Forums are accepting registration for sessions being held live through Zoom. Separate registration is required for each event. Visit contestuniversity.com and hamvention.org for more details or to register. A probe in the United States is studying the latest in a series of reported attacks transmitting high-powered microwaves, with one such incident occurring on the south side of the White House late last year. U.S. lawmakers heard recently about that incident and another one in a nearby Virginia suburb, according to news reports. The suspected attacks on American soil appear to be similar to incidents reported by the U.S. personnel in China and Cuba, who reported an array of symptoms later termed Havana syndrome. The agencies are particularly disturbed about the more recent microwave-related incident reported on the south side of the White House across the Oval Lawn, known as the Ellipse. According to CNN, probes by the Pentagon and other agencies have reached no conclusions. Lawmakers in Washington were briefed recently on the progress of the investigation. In Maine, hams are getting ready for a special event this month that will share the tragedy of an American submarine and honor those who died. Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, brings us the details.
82 years after the submarine USS Escuelas sank during a test dive in the Gulf of Maine, a group of amateur radio operators has devoted the anniversary date to remembering the tragedy. Although 33 survived the accident on May 23, 1939, 26 died. Members of the Maine Ham Radio Society will be calling QRZ at Special Event Station W1S, and a certificate will be awarded to hams making successful contacts with them. According to the Naval History and Heritage Command website, the sinking was attributed to a mechanical failure within the engine that caused the state-of-the-art submarine to begin taking on water. It took until the 13th of September of that same year for the Escuelas to be raised. It was brought to the Portsmouth Navy Yard and decommissioned that November. In May of the following year, it was recommissioned as the USS Sailfish. The hams are hoping that the special event will help everyone remember the Escuelas, its crew, and the civilians on board. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
The Wireless Institute of Australia wants to see hams gain greater access to more frequencies. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, explains.
The Wireless Institute of Australia is pressing for increased amateur access to the spectrum in the range between 3 and 10 megahertz, saying the expansion will enhance what it calls frequency agility. That's an option the WIA says amateurs need as they battle congestion, high-power HF radar systems, and overwhelming interference. The WIA is also advocating study of the bands between 2,300 and 2,302 megahertz and 3,300 to 4,200 megahertz. This recommendation comes in the wake of the WIA's attendance at the ACMA's Technical Liaison Group meetings for frequencies between 3,400 to 3,475 megahertz. The WIA committed itself to be involved in all other groups relevant to UHF and SHF bands as needed. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
The WIA has made the request to the Australian Communications and Media Authority in its 5-year spectrum outlook. If you've been on the fence about what kind of antenna is best for your operations, you might want to have a talk with Hannah Kemp Welch, M7HKW. The London YL is on the fence too. In fact, she and a group of fellow artists recently connected their shortwave radios to some fences with interesting results. Here's Jeremy Boot, G4 in JH.
There are dipoles, yardings, delta loops, and multiband
demonstrated recently how good fences can make good connections. On Saturday, the 1st of May, the women went to various locations in the UK and France as part of a virtual performance by their year-old group, the Shortwave Collective. The project was called Fence Tenor. The goal was to use the receiving properties of their chosen fence to scan the shortwave bands, whether it was a fence at a former railway station in London or part of a sheepfold fence in France. They obtained respectable reception. As seen and heard in a video posted on YouTube in one demonstration, they picked up everything from a 2-meter beacon to a variety of voices from China, Russia and Spain. One member of the video audience remarked in the accompanying chat, quote, "If someone could pick up the Wednesday game for me, that would be great," quote. To watch the video, see the link in this week's Newsline script on our website, arnewsline.org. Although it's often said that fences can divide, it's clear these fences succeeded in making a series of new connections, and all through the power of radio. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH. The youngest hams in IARU Region 1 are taking their online format to a new level by introducing an interactive environment. Ed Durant, DD5LP, fills in the details.
The shape of USA Online, the virtual gathering spot for young amateurs in IARU Region 1, is changing. It's making the move from live stream to interactive forum. The format, which goes into effect in July, was outlined in late April by Region 1 Youth Working Group leaders during an online meeting. The April 29th session was in fact identified as the last such meeting under the old format, which was streamed live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch. Claudia Grover, DC2CL, a member of the public relations team, said the simple live stream meetings are giving way to interactive sessions with voice and chat capability. She said the experience will be more like a bar camp style, referring to the fluid, open environment often called the unconference. The point of shifting to a new format is, in true ham radio spirit, better communication. She said to young viewers who tuned in, "See you in July." For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ed Durant, DD5LP.
A recent Earth Day event in California became a showcase for the public safety role that radio can play, and one group of hams made the most of it. Here's Jack Parker, W8ISH, with more. As residents of Pollock Pines, California, celebrated the Spirit of Earth Day at a 4-hour community event, the El Dorado County Amateur Radio Club joined in to celebrate the spirit of communications. The club showcased its Neighborhood Radio Watch program, which gives non-hams an important public safety role in emergencies through their use of affordable general mobile radio service handhelds, as well as pagers and scanners. According to the club's public information officer, Alan Thompson, W6WN, this technology is especially important in a region so prone to deadly wildfires. He said the club started 3 such programs in Northern California last year and is preparing to launch 3 more before wildfire season takes hold this year. Alan said residents clearly got the club's message during the Earth Day event, and a few former amateur radio operators stopped by, expressing interest in becoming active in radio again and joining the club. Alan said everyone, even the club itself, benefits from the partnering with non-hams and Neighborhood Watch. He said, quote, "These Neighborhood Radio Watch programs have had the unexpected benefit of generating tremendous local goodwill and PR for our club. It has expanded our membership and dramatically increased donations. Community radio programs like these could be key in helping ensure the future of many clubs and even amateur radio itself," end quote. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jack Parker, W8ISH. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the W3NTT repeater in Palmerton, Pennsylvania, at 9 p.m. on Sundays.
W306.
If you enjoy sending or simply receiving in the digital mode, there's a radio show you might want to tune into. Ben Cobb, AK4AV, brings us this report. You've probably heard the sound of MFSK 32 in the ham bands. But if you hear it in the the shortwave broadcast bands, chances are you're hearing shortwave radiogram. It's a radio show that transmits text and images using digital modes familiar to radio amateurs, but the digital sounds are broadcast in AM. The weekly half-hour show airs on shortwave stations WRMI in Florida and WINB in Pennsylvania. Shortwave radiogram just celebrated its 200th episode with broadcasts April 15 through 18. The project began in 2012 on the Voice of America as VOA Radiogram. Producer Kim Andrew Elliott, KD9XB, explained why he created this unique program.
With more and more countries finding more and more ways to block the internet, we can use radio to get uncensored news into denied areas. Digital text modes via old analog shortwave radio transmitters can do this job. The content gets through even in reception conditions where voice content is difficult to understand.
When Kim retired from VOA in 2017, he moved the show to WRMI and WINB and changed the name to Shortwave Radiogram. Every week, listeners from all over the U.S. and the world decode the text and images and post them on social media for discussion. Kim posts information and the show schedule online at swradiogram.net. That's swradiogram.net. I'm Ben Cobb, AK4AV, for Newsline.
The regulator in the Falkland Islands has set a deadline for non-residents seeking revalidation of their VP8 call signs. Here's Robert Broomhead, VK3DN, with that story.
Hands holding a non-resident lifetime license in the Falkland Islands, a VP8 call sign, need to have those call signs revalidated by the Falkland Islands Communication Regulator. In making the announcement on the 27th of April, the regulator said the revalidation is also open to hands who previously held such a license. This is the third and final opportunity hands will have at revalidation, and any license not properly revalidated will be considered terminated as of the 1st of September. The regulator has set a deadline of August the 13th for all applications. The form is available as a download from the regulator's website, which appears in the print version of this week's newscast script at arnewsline.org. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Robert Broomhead, VK3DN.
Amateurs in the UK are getting a chance to have input with planners of a workshop this fall on ham radio's future. Jeremy Moot, G4NJH, is following that story.
To assist the IARU Region 1 with a strategic workshop it has planned on the future of amateur radio, the Radio Society of Great Britain is asking hams in the UK, and even the UK radio enthusiasts who don't have a licence, to participate in a short survey. The questions ask for views on threats to amateur radio, opportunities that exist in amateur radio, and any strengths and weaknesses they see in amateur radio. The information will be provided to Region 1 organisers of the workshop, who have asked the region's national societies to provide this input. The workshop, which will be held in the autumn, hopes to address how national societies can increase their memberships and how the IARU can improve its services to the ham radio community. If you're interested in sharing your views, you have until the 23rd of May. Visit the website at rsgb.org/survey. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
A decorated military veteran and a longtime member of the Military Auxiliary Radio System has become a silent key. Larry Tristan Walker, K4LLQ, died at home in Ogden, Utah on the 25th of April. According to his obituary, Larry was an Army career officer and recipient of many medals during his 23 years of military service. He received the Bronze Star, the Legion of Merit, the Meritorious Service Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross. His career in amateur radio began as a youngster in Georgia, where he got his license and became the state's youngest ham at the time. Larry later became active in Mars, which he served for 58 years. He was also a member and past president of the Fauquier Amateur Radio Association in Warrenton, Virginia. Larry was 83. A new video
highlights the way that the Radio Society of Great Britain kept amateur radio vibrant during the 2020 pandemic and lockdown. Newsline is especially proud that we were able to honor the Get on the Air to Care campaign by presenting it with our International Newsmaker of the Year award. The Go to 2C campaign was conceived of by Paul Devlin, G1SMP, and put into action by the RSGB and the UK's National Health Service. For a look at the various initiatives the RSGB accomplished in spite of pandemic conditions, watch the 5-minute video on YouTube. We have provided a link in the script of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. In the world of DX, be listening for Ed, ES2TT operating as ES2TT/8 from Kinu Island in the Baltic Sea between the 29th and 30th of May. Listen on 40, 30, and 20 meters where he will be using CW and single sideband. QSL via his home call sign, direct, or via the Bureau. In a Newsline report that aired on October of 2019, we told the story of two older hams and an enduring friendship between them, an American heart surgeon in his 80s and a retired TV engineer in his 90s. The engineer became a silent key last month. Ken Peterson, KC0DGY, has that story, which concludes this week's report for Newsline.
In the logbook of a radio amateur's life, there are endless contacts, but perhaps few more valid than the ones logged by Ted Trowell, G2HKU, during his 98 years. The retired TV engineer, who became a silent key on April 13th, was a respected member of the UK's ham radio community for his long lifetime on the air. He'd been a ham since before the Second World War, using the call sign 2HKU. 2 years ago, he received the highest honor from the First Class Radio Operators Club, presented to him personally by an American heart surgeon, Bill Maxon, N4AR, who flew from the U.S. to hand it personally to Ted, a cherished friend he'd first met on the air in the late 1950s. The occasion marked their second eyeball QSO during the pair's 7 decades of countless rag juice. Edward Harry Ted Trowell was described in one UK newspaper as one of Britain's oldest and longest-serving radio amateurs. He had been a member of the FOC and the CDXC. He died just weeks after marking his 98th birthday. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
With thanks to Alan Thompson, W6WN, Amateur News Weekly, the ARRL, Bob Ringwald, KCYBV, Bob Ringwald, K6YBV, CBS, CNN, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DX News, Ham Radio Friedrichshafen, Kent Online, the Leavenworth Times, Maine Ham Radio Society, Naval History and Heritage Command, Ohio Penn DX Newsletter, QRZ.com, the Radio Society of Great Britain, Southgate Amateur Radio News, ShortwaveRadio.de, Ted Randall's QSO Radio Show, WTWW Shortwave, the Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, Yoda Online, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. Please send emails to our address at newsline@arnewsline.org. More information is available at Amateur Radio Newsline's only official website at arnewsline.org. Be sure to follow some of these stories as they get a more in-depth look on the YouTube channel of 100 Watts and a Wire. Search for the video segment with the title, Two Stories. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2021. All rights reserved.
Good evening, 8:40 p.m.
Hey, it's W3OC Net Control to Tours Amateur Radio Club Net. Okay, while the Newsline was playing, I took a look up on the ARL website, the ARL news feed they have up there. See if anything gets earth-shattering up there. Let's see. Solar update. I know the HF solar update. I looked at that a little bit ago, and they're not predicting very good conditions this week. And this was an ARL bulletin that came out. It says FCC first-time exam applicants must obtain FRN before taking exam. And that's always been on the application, so you're taking tests, but now they're going to require it. It starts on the 20th. There's on the FCC's website, there's a YouTube video up there that shows how to apply for that. Okay. And of course, there's an article in there about the Bouvet Island expedition scheduled to start in 2023 in January and February. That's a big operation, and now they've added a second position to that group. I think they have 15 operators at the moment. I think that's what it says. So that's highly anticipated by people interested in Bouvet Island. That's down on the, I think it's in the Atlantic. No, Pacific, I believe it is, near Antarctica. Okay, that's kind of what I see. As far as I can see up there, there's other stuff too, but those are kind of the highlights. Okay, this time we'll take some late check-ins. What else might be checking in South Oklahoma? Okay, none heard. Okay. Okay, we'll close the net out at this hour at 8:43 p.m. 43 UTC. ICON 23 check-ins. I'd like to thank everybody who checked in with us this evening or listened to us on alternate means. And everybody have a good week. Now the weather's starting to break a little bit. Might be a time to do a little bit of that kind of work if you want to. Bill Day's coming up too in about a month, 6 weeks, I think, something like that. So I guess some of the clubs are getting ready for that. With that, we're going to turn the repeater back to General Massachusetts, W3OCL for W3ON. Good night.